The 49ers made some much needed moves to boost the defensive line, but word on the street is, the 49ers might be cooking up something else. That injuries and more is what we'll be talking about on today's 49K pod.
You're listening to the 49 Carats podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats podcast. I'm your host, Steph. It is Thursday, October 30th. We're a day away from Halloween. A couple of days away from the 49ers heading to New York to play the New York Giants. But as it stands right now, it's Third and Thursdays with my guy, Wayne Breezie. Wayne, how you doing?
I'm doing good now. Gave it some time. Probably I'm coming down with a little something, but it's all good. I'll be out there in New York, and I'm feeling a lot better. Ready to get this win this week. You know what I'm saying? So feeling a lot better after that defeat in Houston.
You going to New York too?
Yeah, I'll be there. I mean, I live down the street, so
go.
I better be in New York.
Let's go. Yeah, it's going to be lit. I mean, I feel like there's a decent amount of people who are going to be heading out there. But yes, of course, we're expecting a way better and hoping for a way better outcome than that of last week when the 49ers played Houston. So we'll see what MetLife has in store for the 49ers. But speaking of, Wayne, as we usually do when we start these shows, let's go through some injuries with the 49ers, what we're tracking this week as far as the practice report from yesterday, October 29th. So let's start with the players who were limited. We got Brock Purdy, who is limited with his toe injury. We got Ben Barch with an ankle, Upton Stout now dealing with a shoulder. Before it was an ankle for Upton Stout. Now it was a shoulder for him. Okay. Defensive lineman Jordan Elliott with an ankle. And then Keon White, who the 49ers just traded for. We'll talk more about him in a bit. Not injury related, but he was limited. As far as the players who did not practice, Ricky Pearsall continuing to remain out with his knee injury. Jake Brendel, D. Winters, Alfred Collins, Bryce Huff, Samo, Yetra Gross-Matos, and then our two veterans who get every Wednesday off, Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams. Wayne, I feel like I just listed every pass rusher the 49ers have while I was going through that, which is why the 49ers made a move for a pass rusher, right? But just really quickly, let's stick to Brock Purdy here. So he's limited. John Lynch was on KNBR this morning and didn't quite reveal too much as far as which quarterback they're expecting to have start in Sunday's game. But given that it's MetLife, I mean, I feel like it would make sense for the 49ers to just let him rest another week, even if he's feeling up to it, and just have him play in week 10. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a tough one, right? Like I think the trauma of playing on MetLife field just rubs us the wrong way, and several key injuries on that field makes you want to say, yeah, don't. My thing is if he's healthy and he's able to play, I want my starter out there, yo. I want to win this game. Like, I'm sorry, like I miss the offense that Brock runs. I'm good. I'm happy with the offense that Jones runs, but it's a completely different offense. The offense looks totally different. I know a lot of people have been complaining about the offensive line, this, and that. Okay, cool. But I know Brock, he enables the offensive line. He helps the offensive line and mask certain things. They kind of built for Brock, not built for Mac to protect. Mac stands in that pocket and is looking to deliver the ball down the field, whereas Brock will stand in the pocket, but then he has the athleticism to move. So I miss that. But again, I'm only saying if he is healthy, because John Lynch said they're going to talk to Brock, and if Brock is going to convince them, I think Brock probably convinced them the last time that he was healthy, and that didn't work out too well. So it's going to be iffy. I get the field sucks, but if my starter is available, I need my starter out there. I'm sorry. I don't know, people are going to be looking at me like I'm crazy, but I want Brock to play if he's available.
I mean, we all want Brock to play, but I think like we do also now have a bit of caution given that the last time that he went out there, it felt like it almost prolonged this injury maybe a little bit more. I don't know if we would call it necessarily a re-aggravation, but it just definitely didn't feel like it helped his timeline at all. And he's missed several games since then, so it's like you want to wait till he's at least like 100% too at the same time, and then the PTSD of this field and just how it's done you dirty in the past, I think also has to play into it. I mean, Matt Mayoko, in his podcast, did mention some of that as well, that's kind of the reasoning. He did mention that Brock Purdy has looked better this week in practice, or yesterday he looked a little bit better, but that they're going to exercise caution with him. We got a super chat from Foot who says, I predict Purdy will miss this week's game next week, and then he will be shut down for this requiring toe surgery. Bet. I know these Niners. Wow. I mean, I sure hope not. That would be worst case scenario. The fact that he's limited, it seems to suggest that things are progressing, which is a good sign. But you're always a little iffy about the 49ers and just how they communicate about injuries. Like, they're not always forthcoming with things happening. So maybe that's somewhat the concern there is, we know how they operate. But I don't know. Do you feel like that's something that could happen?
Yeah, like this is a scenario. And thank you for the super chat contribution as well, Foot. This is a possibility. I think the questions of asking Kyle Shanahan, well, why not put him on the IR and this is that and the third, and the way he kind of went around and above it, around it, under it, whatever. It's just that his thing was they didn't think the injury was as serious and he would be back. Unfortunately, he hasn't been back. So again, this is going to be like I agree with him about this week. I don't think he's going to play this week, and that's okay. Like I said, if he was 100% cleared and healthy, I say give it a go. I think they're going to look to bring him back out in the home game against the Rams, and that just makes sense. At home, you can kind of it's more controlled. You playing on your turf, your grass, excuse me. It just makes more sense for him to be good to go in week 10 opposed to week 9 on the road. So look, Mac will probably be the starting quarterback, and the only thing we need to do, Mac is beat up too. So you might not see him on his injury report heavily, but he's hurting. And what a week this will be where the Niners need to run the ball. And I know the Giants know that. They know that Mac is hurting. They have a good pass rush, but they struggle in stopping the run. So this is going to be interesting to see how the 49ers attack the New York Giants this week.
Yeah, I think it might end up being a similar game plan to what they did against the Falcons. Just try to exploit the Giants' run defense as much as possible. They've struggled against the run, so this is a game where you try to get Christian McCaffrey back going. He didn't do a whole lot last week. It was just harder to come by some yards because the Houston defense is so good. I think we'll expect to see a better offensive showing this time around than what we got last week. Wayne, I wanted to bring this question up that Jose Sanchez asked on Twitter: who comes back first, Ricky Pearsall or Brandon Ayuk? Now, remember, Kyle Shanahan some weeks ago now, like earlier in the season, talked about around week 10 being like the circled date, I guess, for Brandon Ayuk to potentially make his return. Hasn't had his practice window opened yet, but Ricky Pearsall continues to not practice either. So it's like, which one do we see come back first? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, man, it doesn't sound like Ayuk's returning anytime soon, and it doesn't sound like Ricky Pearsall is returning anytime soon. But if I had to bet, I put my money on Ricky Pearsall because he's not on the IR. So I would go with Ricky. But that doesn't mean he might not get designated to the IR. Something about this knee injury it's just lingering, and he's not even practicing. So that what a crazy series of events, right? I mean, he gets a knee injury, quote unquote, on a uncatchable pass going out of bounds or whatever, and it's taking him out, and he's not progressing, and he's not practicing. I think that's the part that I'm stuck on. Now there's Brandon Ayuk, so it's a great question from Jose. But I'll put my money on Pearsall because he's on the active roster, and so I put my money on Pearsall.
Well, we got a response from Juice TD, the Juice TD guy on Twitter, who said, Jesus Christ, probably will come back before those two guys. And just the way things are going with the 49ers, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, man. I would be, I'm be honest. If Jesus came back before one of these two, I'd be upset because I felt like I didn't get what I expected to get from these guys. These are first round draft picks.
Oh, man.
I would ask Jesus, can he come back another day and give him some more time or something?
Let us see Brandon Ayuk first.
Right.
In 2025.
Right.
Oh my God. All right. But John Lynch was asked about Pearsall and his injury again. Like we talk about the fact we don't often get a lot of information about these injuries, but he did say, quote, those PCL injuries can be very stubborn. They can linger a little. Ricky's doing his best to get back. He's making steady progress. Receiver's a position you better be at full speed. There's been some positive progress, but he's not there yet. And Wayne, I feel like obviously the same applies to Brandon Ayuk, where he says like receivers, like you need to be at full speed, right?
Yeah.
And for people who were really excited about, the clips that we were getting some weeks ago, a month ago of Brandon Ayuk in practice, jogging here and there, and like, oh, he's close. Well, that was not full speed in those clips. And so that's why we're still waiting on Brandon Ayuk, but same probably goes for Ricky Pearsall. And Matt Miyoko did say in his podcast as well that Pearsall appears to be moving a little bit better, but he also expects him to probably be closer to coming back week 10 as well. So we'll have to wait at least another week, maybe to see Ricky Pearsall.
How cool would it be though? I mean, like they open up Brandon Ayuk's practice window next week. And then all of a sudden, miraculously, the PCL injury is cleared up because Jesus came and healed it. And they both end up playing in week 10. That would be immaculate, wouldn't you think?
It would be. I mean, what's crazy is like, and people are pointing this out, that last season, Ricky Pearsall missed a number of games after having been shot.
We can have the conversation.
He returned to practice 44 days after he was shot in the chest. As of today, it's been 32 days.
So we got to give him 44. Okay, so we got a few more days. Okay. I see where we're going with this. Me personally, stop getting injured. I mean, what was going on? Like, this is a first round pick. And for some reason, it just seems like these cool, flashy pieces that we like to see that flash at us, they can't stay healthy. I'll be honest, like I felt like, Brandon Ayuk before the PCL, MCL, ACL injury was probably the most healthiest wide receiver we've had here.
Yeah.
Until then. And now he's not even here. So right now, you got a banged up Jauan Jennings. You got Kendrick Bourne's probably the healthiest wide receiver on this roster. Him and DeMarcus Robinson.
Yep.
And maybe Jordan Watkins, but he's just recovering from his little hammy. So crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And I did kind of want to talk about another wide receiver, Jauan Jennings, later in this show. But for now, I mean, we'll talk about 49ers bolstering up their pass rush help. And with that, they added Clinton Farrell he was a free agent at the time, so he signed to their practice squad. I have to imagine Clinton Farrell is going to be elevated to play in this game because, as we noted earlier, the 49ers don't have many healthy pass rushers available on their roster. They only have, now Keon White, Robert Beal on the 53, and Michael Williams, if you count him as a defensive end as well. We do. So that's not a lot of guys. So Clinton Farrell probably going to get the nod this week. And then, of course, as we know, the 49ers made a trade. Haven't talked about this yet on the 49K pod. So, going to talk about it now. Keon White traded to the 49ers from the Patriots. It was a 6-7 pick swap for the 49ers. And Tom Pelissero had a little additional information that the 7th round pick going back to San Francisco is conditional. So if Keon White if he's active for 7 games, Patriots keeps it 7th, and then they would own their 11 picks. So I feel like even still, like that's a really great trade for the 49ers for a team who was desperate for some pass rush help. But when you heard about this news, I mean, it felt like it was very much in line with what kind of we expected the 49ers to make, like the type of trade we were expecting. And it wasn't like a stunner or anything. But based on everything they told us of what they were looking for in a trade, this is in line with what they were saying. Like, it wasn't going to cost them much. Someone who would help them into next season as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's under contract through the 2026 season. So I like this move. I feel like there's a lot of potential here.
The potential is definitely there. I mean, you and I covered him back in 2023 at the Senior Bowl. We saw how much of a monster he was. A big kid too. He's a big guy, and he was dominant back then. He went to the Patriots. He had a pretty good sophomore or second year, however you want to look at it. He did finish that season with 5 sacks, and so the next year, this year, I mean, they come in with a new coach, new system, new vibe, new everything. But I think for the Niners, this is the type of person that fits what they were looking for, as far as the type of player that they're looking for, a moldable player as well, a guy that can be utilized versatility-wise, inside, outside, inside. I mean, he just fits the Kosaric gang, right? Like, that's what the Niners, those are the types that the Niners look for. I mean, and you get a former second round pick, right, for a 6th and possibly a 7th round pick, which is probably late 7th round. So it's not really. I don't think we spent a lot, and I think the ceiling for this kid is through the roof, especially if he can come in here and grasp the concept of what we're doing in the wide 9 system. But I think he's going to fit it. I think his ability to set the edge is great. And this is going to keep quarterbacks in the pocket, keep running backs, making them cut back inside for guys to tackle. And so that's what you like. I mean, and then you can line them up inside. I mean, him and Michael on the same side might be actually dangerous now that I think about it. Put him inside, have a Michael on the outside, or vice versa, switch the guys. And he can still get to the passer, right? So, like, you look at his tangibles, his speed, all that type of stuff. I mean, it's not fast, it's not sticking out, but he's athletic as heck. He has pretty long arms. Like, this guy is a freak. And so he fits exactly what the Niners were looking for. And this is a good addition. And I believe we're going to see him play this week for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And Jacqueline had that question for us with this super chat here.
I didn't even see that. What's up,
Jack?
Do
you guys believe that he plays on Sunday? So Wayne believes that he will. I believe he will too, because it's like, out of desperation, you don't often see guys getting traded in that exact same week they're out there. But this is a unique circumstance where they need him.
Passed the physical on his way to the airport. He is playing on Sunday. I can tell you right now. And I think he's excited to play, because the one thing that I learned from him, just speaking to him, he loves the game of football. And he loves to play the game of football. So the passion is there. I just think his time in New England, they traded him. He wasn't asking to be traded. They traded him. So at the end of the day, like, he just wants to be on the football field now. He wasn't being utilized. So he's going to get the opportunity here for sure. I know a lot of people, Steph, are probably like, oh, this is going to be another Chase Young. Is he going to have that? Nah, it's a totally different mindset, right? I don't think he has the same mindset as Chase Young as far as effort and attitude. Now, this kid's going to come out and definitely try to make a name for himself.
I think this is going to be closer to like a Bryce Huff trade in the sense that he's coming from a situation in which he did have success prior. Like 2024 season was really big for him, how it started. But then you have a change in the coaching staff. And, I know that didn't happen for Huff, but there were some changes in which he goes into a situation that doesn't really suit his skill set. So Keon White, with this new coaching staff in New England, they weren't really a fit. Like, it just didn't work. And we see how that impacts, I think, the perception of a player when you're not seeing them have success. It's not always because of effort or lack of effort. It's not always because that player's just not good anymore. Scheme fit matters so much in the NFL, and Keon White just did not fit what the Patriots were doing this season. They bolstered their defensive line as well, so he just wasn't even getting the opportunity. And kind of what John Lynch said here echoes that a little bit. And when he was on KNBR this morning, asked about Keon White, he said really good player, didn't quite fit with what the Patriots were doing. Our analytics liked him. He says the coaches were huge fans of him. And he said, we feel we can untap some of his limitless potential. Keon has to assimilate really quickly. So, yeah, I mean, I think they're banking on what they'd seen in the past from Keon and just knowing he has that talent. It's just about using him in ways that brings that talent out of him. Keon White has had most success rushing from the inside, which that's what's interesting to me, Wayne, is like, Michael Williams is the same way. He wins against guards, and to this point, Michael he's been forced to play more on the outside than I'm sure the 49ers were anticipating or wanting for him. And so now with Keon White, it almost makes it so Michael will have to continue being on the outside if you want to continue to play Keon White on the inside, which is where he's best at. So like, I guess it's interesting how they're going to sort of handle that, or maybe their plan on pass rushing downs is that you have Keon White and Michael Williams lined up over guards on either side. I don't know, but yeah, I feel like there's maybe a little overlap there.
Yeah, for sure. But that's the whole point. Like, I think what they're trying to do is definitely develop Michael Williams a lot faster as an edge, right? And so let's get him some interior help. Let's get him a guy that we know can win on the inside. But the stunts. So that just because they start in one area doesn't mean they're going to finish in that area. So now you're putting two of the same kind of body type guys, mountains of men, just look like on one side of the football field. And so, those tackles, those guards, they're going to have to pick their poison. And I like it, right? I like it. And so I'm excited to see this little overlap, how it works, how Chris Kosaric kind of utilizes these players on his defensive front. Again, we're still going to be missing the speed. So speed will be missing. But if you got two guys that can set the edge, that's, which I think Keon is a better edge setter than Michael Williams at this point. I really do. And so this is going to be interesting to see how these guys play against this Giants rush. It's going to be really interesting to see.
And I think the 49ers are okay with, in the meantime, not having finishers. Like, I wouldn't describe Keon White or Michael Williams as guys who finish, but they create disruptors.
They're disruptors. There you go.
We on the same page.
There you go. There you go.
And so when you do have some of these defensive ends, Yetur Gross-Mato, Samo, Bryce Huff coming back, you hope that there'll be a bit of a complement to where, Bryce Huff will be able to finish a little more and get more sacks once he's back healthy, because you have the complement of Michael and Keon White over the guards or on the other side. So, yeah, I think it'll end up being a really good situation for the 49ers. Shout out Perk Dog.
Perk Dog.
Here. Just want to say, yeah, rep that shit. And says, much love, Wayne, Steph, and the entire crew. And he got to get back to work.
Appreciate
Shout out to
bro.
Everyone tuning in, actually, while they're at work.
Yo, Perk Dog's energy was on level 100 this weekend, man. It was good. I got a chance to see him this weekend, and it was just really good, like, running into this guy. He's just a great person, great human being, great energy, loves this team, reps that. He's just a great person. So him, Tina, everybody, appreciate you guys for coming out to Houston. Let's get this dub this week, though. That's most important.
Let's get this dub. For anyone who hasn't gone to an away game this season or in the last couple of years, like, definitely go out at least once. Like, pick a city that you've always wanted to go to that the 49ers are playing in and just go. It's one of the best experiences. I would say, like, I have a better time going to these away games and meeting and connecting with other 49er fans than I do at like actual home games. Cause like, it's just the fact that we're all meeting in this, you know, not strange city, but like a city that we're not from, just to see our team. There's more community, there's more camaraderie, you know, we're all talking with each other, meeting each other. It's such a great experience. So Wayne, happy to hear that you had a blast last week in Texas, although it wasn't the outcome that we wanted. And this week in New York, it's up. We're turning up out there. Me and Wayne going to be out there. Jay, you know, John Chapman, as always, throwing his parties. We're going to be out there. So it's going to be a good time out there in New York. But while we're on the topics of trades here, Wayne, it sounds like the 49ers might not be done yet. So Ricky, our favorite, news breaking dog on Twitter, said the Cowboys and the 49ers are both expected to add defensive linemen before Tuesday's trade deadline. And I do also want to say, for the audio listeners or people who are tuning in and not like chronically on Twitter, like some of us are, you may not know who Ricky is. I have talked about him on the show before, but we don't know who Ricky is. He's an anonymous guy on Twitter that puts out reports, and you know, he's been wrong sometimes, but like I feel like he's been right more so than he's been wrong on some big things. And so maybe the 49ers are looking to make a trade. He's not the only one saying this either. ESPN's Dan Graziano had said similar things as well. So could we see another 49ers trade before Tuesday's deadline, Wayne?
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, listen, they have to reshift the defensive line. They have to rebolster it, right? Like they got to re-up on it. Unfortunately, they lost, you know, a couple of key pieces, and you know they have to replenish it. And the only way to do that is see who's available and see if there's a team that's going to be willing to trade. And it could be another person that's familiar with the system. It makes the most sense, right? Going out and getting a person that's familiar with the system. And so be ready for the Arden Key return to the Bay. Like, so I could tell you that right now. And I know people are going like, oh, like why? Like, just be ready, because it's a guy that's familiar with solid system. He plays in it very well. And you know, he's ready to go. He's playing for the Titans. They're not really doing much. Their defense has been top as far as stopping the run. But I can tell you right now, if they're willing to move on from him, he's a cheap veteran. He's a veteran. I don't want to say cheap, but he's a veteran, and he won't cost the Niners too much draft capital back in that fifth to sixth round pick range. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I would trade a fifth for him, but definitely a six. So we'll see what happens. But listen, those other names are still out there. I mean, Miami, unfortunately, they got a crazy win last week, so they might not be looking to move on if they feel like they can get a spark going. But I really wanted to see Bradley Chubb here, because that's the finisher. So like, if you want a finisher, you got to go get a finisher. And the rumor right now, Steph, is Trey Hendrickson, and I'm not hearing that Cincinnati wants to move on from him, but it doesn't make sense for Cincinnati to keep a player that's not coming back. Like,
that's what I don't understand, Wayne, is like,
right.
I've seen so many reports of people saying Bengals are not interested in trading Trey Hendrickson. Like, how many reports from different people have you seen say that, right?
Yeah.
And yet I'm still seeing like literally the same people who said that linking the 49ers with Trey Hendrickson. And I get it. Like, of course, the 49ers are calling in on everybody. So to me, a report that says the 49ers called the Bengals for Trey Hendrickson, like, yeah, exactly. No shit. Like, I would hope so. But that doesn't mean a trade happens. But I do still find it interesting that they're being linked so often. I don't know if it's just the low-hanging fruit. Like, come on, we got to put this article out there. So let me just, put the most obvious thing that makes sense. But
I think it's part that, right? It's part that it's that low-hanging fruit. And when you think about it like this, right? Like, out of all the edge rushers that are in the league, who's kind of like the most or the best fit to what we lost? And it would probably be Trey, the Nick Bosa. And so like, but if the Niners aren't going to be able to keep him for next year, I just don't see it happening. for numerous years because he's looking for a contract extension. But then again, I can't see it happening. I mean, why not pay two edge rushers? Like, you know what I'm saying? And depletes another position. Like, get rid of whatever, And then the Niners can also trade some of these contracts. They can trade a player or two. So who knows how it's going to go down? I think my thing is this, like, when I think about the Bengals, I understand that the organization, it sucks, right? They're not as bad as the Browns, but they're just there, right? My thing is this, like, he doesn't want to be there, clearly, because he renegotiated his contract to become a free agent after this season. So I don't see Trey pulling a Myles Garrett. I feel like Trey out. I feel like that's why these injuries are creeping up, blah, 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 whatever, whatever, whatever. So who knows? Stand pat. Man, next Tuesday is either going to be explosive or a little firecracker. Either way, it's going to be a boom.
Maybe they're waiting to see if they can win this game on Sunday. Obviously, they lost last week to the Jets, so maybe it's like, okay, if we lose one more, then it's over. Let's just get more for him now than we would if we let him go as a free agent, which the max they would get then is a third round pick, is a comp pick the following season. So it wouldn't even be an instant return on that. But John Lynch, when he was on KNBR, was asked about if they would make another trade, to which John Lynch said he'll never say never because we still have some time left on this deadline. We like whoever we trade for to be here for more than just the end of the year. They've said this so many times now. That is like, filter out any other name who's just a rental. Like, it's not a thing. So to that point, like, Trey Hendrickson maybe doesn't fit the bill. And also, Aiden Hutchinson just got a big payday from the Lions. So you're now looking at maybe an increased price point for, if you did trade for Hendrickson, what you then have to pay him in an extension. So, and John Lynch also mentions, like, they want to keep their draft, right? Like, they're not trying to give up too much draft capital. They didn't with Keon White. So I think if they did make another trade, it would be in that Arden Key range where you're not having to give up a whole lot, day 3 picks, some conditionals in there, you know what I'm saying? So I think that'd be the more likely scenario. And who knows, like, maybe if the 49ers can get a Jermaine Johnson or something from the Jets and it'd be reasonable, like, maybe they'd look into that too. That feels like it'd be worth it if it snuck into the day 2, territory. But we'll see. I would not be surprised, though, if the 49ers do decide to make another trade here before Tuesday's deadline. We did have a super chat here. So this one's an interesting one. This is from Ty Tanner, who says, have you seen that new conspiracy on 49ers injuries? The power plant next to the stadium and the levels of EMF put out and what it can do to the body. So I did see this.
I didn't. So, oh my gosh.
It's just a theory. Chase Sr. Posted it from Chat Sports. He posted it on Twitter and just threw it out there. I would have to do some more research on this. I don't know if I can say, anyone could say with validity that this is something, but this is how far we are in the 49ers injuries and how ridiculous it's gotten, that we are grasping at straws to try to figure out the reason as to why the 49ers continually seem to have most injuries of anybody in the league. Like, it does defy all logic. So yeah, exactly. Like, we might as well just blame 5G network at this point. That's how bad the conspiracies have gotten. It's kind of crazy out here.
I just think it's part luck. Part bad luck. What else can it be?
This often, Wade? Like, every year is bad luck?
I mean, our players. I mean, look. It's not just like, so the way I see it. Like, I follow the whole NFL. I mean, every team's dealing with injuries, and I know for the Niners faithful, it just seems like it's just us, and it's not. So, like, I guess, did we expect Nick Bosa to, like, be out for this? No. Like, it's just weird. Like, it's just freak injuries. I can't blame. I don't know. There's no blame to it other than luck for me. Like, you can blame it on not stretching. But how do we know they're not stretching? Just because we don't see it doesn't mean they're not doing it. You know what I mean? So like we could blame it on that. We could blame it on.
Yeah, that was a thing. Like
Yeah.
training camp,
Remember that?
preseason. Yeah, dude, we were on that for a few weeks.
But listen, because I play football, so the stretching was definitely the first 20 minutes of every practice. We've been to camp.
Mhm.
And I don't think I remember seeing them do what I used to do when I was growing up.
They don't do static. They
No.
don't
So-
really do static.
So bring the static back. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. I'm not a trainer. Well, maybe it's the food. Maybe it's it could be a big thing in the foods that we eat. Everybody's going for the leaner bodies. You know what I'm saying? So the muscles are a little different. You get a little more muscle injuries. It could be anything. So at this point, it's bad luck. And I'm leaving it. That's where I stand with it. I can't blame the coaching, the play calls, the trainers, the players. No one wants to get injured. It just happens to us. Maybe there's a hex.
That's okay. While
That's
we're
luck.
on like conspiracy theories, that's
Yeah.
mine. Like that,
Yeah.
I think there's a curse out there.
There's a curse.
Someone got a voodoo doll. The 49ers, they're
We
like
should have never played.
poking it, like
Yeah,
doing all sorts of stuff. So
it's crazy.
that's my working theory. But while we're talking about injuries, Robert Saleh is speaking with the media right now, and he did say Yetur Gross-Matos might play this week, and
Really?
Bryce Huff is expected back next week. So I do expect next week, and understandable. It's like that Rams game, your second game against the Rams this season. You're still in a favorable spot within the NFC West, but you do have to keep that going. So that Week 10 game against the Rams, you have circled that for quite some time as being very important to this team. And as of right now, it feels like you could get a lot of reinforcements back for that game, so including Bryce Huff. So that feels like a big development. And also the fact they could get Gross-Matos this week would be huge.
And that's another player that's kind of like Michael Williams and Keon White. They play better on the inside than they do the outside.
I like Gross-Matos on the outside more so than some of these, White and Michael. I think you play Michael on base downs on the edge, like we've been saying that since like the draft, right? Like that's probably his spot. But Gross-Matos, put him out there on, obvious pass down situations on the edge and, see what he could do. But that would be a huge boost if you could get him going. And obviously, we do still expect Keon White and Clinton Farrell to be available and playing in some capacity for this game. But that helps. Like, if Yetur Gross-Matos is back, then you don't have to feel like you have to depend on Clinton Farrell and
Rotation
Keon.
is, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rotation is always best. And that's what the 49ers have been missing for, like, the last few weeks, especially after Bryce Huff went down. You just didn't have the option of rotating guys like you would like. And that's what Robert Saleh likes to do most, because then he can diversify his looks and what he's able to do. You don't want to be predictable. 49ers had to blitz a little bit more than they wanted to and still couldn't get pressure on CJ Stroud and the Texans. So it was just not an ideal situation. I'd expect we see a slightly better performance this week, but it'll be a slightly bigger challenge because, Jackson Dart, it's got some legs and he can use them, so he's going to be tough to bring down at moments. So you need to be prepared for that. One more trade topic for you, Wayne, and it's our guy, Jauan Jennings. Is Jauan Jennings on the trade block? And if not, should he be? Well, Kyle Shanahan, when he spoke with the media yesterday, was kind of asked on if Jennings was a possible trade candidate, being that, Jennings did request a trade in the offseason. Kyle Shanahan said, quote, "I'd be very surprised if Jauan wasn't on our team throughout this year."
This used to be Kyle's guy, right?
Coach speak?
I just feel like this is how he talks about the receivers before they on their way out.
Oof. So you think it's possible? He like not ruling it out, or either that, or like Kyle Shanahan doesn't really know what the hell's going on in the background, and like.
There's no way Kyle Shanahan doesn't know what the hell is going on in the background.
I mean, he knows, but like, I don't think he really, like, he lets John Lynch cook, especially during the season. Like, I think he just like, I feel like Kyle's like, just.
This is a John going to Kyle saying, "Hey man, listen,
Yeah,
I could get a 4th round pick for Jauan Jennings."
Yeah.
So you say,
Pull the
so
trigger.
So pull it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or even a fifth. I mean, at the end of the day, you're flipping a seventh round pick. So anything higher than a fifth is great. The Niners are probably, believe it or not, and from the production we're getting from Jauan this year, the Niners are kind of logjam at the wide receiving position,
Bad.
especially if you're getting Ricky Pearsall back. Brandon Ayuk set to return at some point if he does, right? And so you're trying to develop the Jordan Watkins kid. And then you still got Jacob Cowing on the IR that you could bring back. So, like, the Niners have tons of wide receivers that can probably do what Jauan Jennings is doing this season. So if you can move them, you got to move them. And it sucks because you lose the dog. But the dog,
He has not been a dog this year.
okay, that's my point. That's what I was trying to say. You said it. I was trying to figure out how to say that. He
That's
has
tough
not.
though. I mean, the truth hurts, but like, because he had been a dog, like that was kind of his main selling point, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just not there. It's not there this season. He's in his head. I don't know what it is. He just doesn't seem focused, and he's hurting the team more so than he's helping it in some of these games.
So because of that, I just feel like he's good as gone. Now, let's see how he's utilized today. I mean, this week. I'm sorry. If he's utilized, she said he's a puppy. You can't go from dog back to puppy. Like, even a grown ass dog, when they get old, they still a dog. Like, I don't know where he's gone, but I think you said it. He's mentally checked out. But I think it was that prior to the season because he did request a trade.
Mm-hmm.
But we all swept it under the bus like, it's nothing. And then it was all quiet for him. There was no drama from him. He didn't remove himself from anything. But you know what he did? He was injured. The whole offseason. Injured. So that kind of like allowed us to not talk about it. And remember when Kyle asked how was the injury? Is he going to return?
It was
like
weird.
He said, well, if he says he's injured, then he's injured. Like, what do you want me to do about it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Her? What?
It was a weird situation.
It was very weird. So I don't know, man. I it's gonna suck to see him go, but we're not seeing. It would be different if he was a dog this year and producing and he was traded, opposed to he's not helping the team much this year.
No. And that sucks to say because like they could have really used his help.
You guys are so mean.
I love the live chat, man.
Oh my gosh.
Live chat, keeping it popping as usual. On that note, I'll make sure you like the video if you haven't yet. But Matt Barrows had this one little tidbit in his mailbag this week. He said, per league source, Jennings earns an extra $800,000 for every 5 games in which he plays at least 35 offensive snaps this season. He's done that in 6 games because he's missed 2 because of injury. That means he has to play 35 or more snaps in all 9 remaining games to get the maximum incentive of $2.4 million. He can earn an additional $600K if he plays 35 or more snaps in all postseason games should the 49ers make the playoffs. I mean, it's crazy that we're talking about Jauan Jennings the way that we are because, like, the 49ers paid him extra this season. And I don't want to say it was to shut him up, but like it was to kind of meet at the middle and be like,
it wasn't a lot of money. It
wasn't a lot of money, but it's like, dude, it
wasn't
like
a lot extra.
Here.
Let me say this. Now, let me ask you this question. I hate talking this stuff because we try to value what these people are worth. Like, if he feels he's worth $10. I can't knock him for that. But what I do knock him for is accepting the $7 and not putting out maximum effort. You get where I'm going with this?
Well, no, and that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm like, how, like the way that we're talking about him this season doesn't reflect someone who got a little more money this year to play.
And I think what I'm saying is, bro, you said yes. So
Exactly.
you should have just caused the drama so everybody could have hated you at the beginning of the season opposed to hating you now. Like you should have just made the drama. He just should have said, "No, I'm not playing for that." I think it would have been better well off for him, but this dude's been dealing with all kinds of injuries and I just don't think he's healthy. And I think part of that is probably why his performance is slacking. You know what I mean? Like he's just not healthy. You can see it. You can see the way he runs routes. You can see the way he blocks. The effort is there, but it's hurting effort. Like I don't know. Not trying to give him any excuses, but that's what I think.
Yeah, and Ty in the comments with the
What's up,
super
Ty?
chat, thank you, Ty. He says, with his injuries he's playing with and has been open about, I don't know how many people would be interested in him. His value is definitely not great. That too. I mean, not that he chose to have injuries, but like he's sunk his trade value as well, or like
not necessarily that. So the teams you got to think about are the teams that know him. Those would be the teams. So the Texans, the Dolphins, the Commanders. You get what I'm saying? So the teams that know of him, know his work ethic, know who he is, those would be the teams looking to trade for a guy. So.
I'm sure there's some teams calling. I just wonder. I wonder like what they would be willing to give up for Jauan Jennings. But I think like
it won't be higher than a fifth, right? What would you give up for Jauan
I don't
Jennings?
think it'd be higher than a fifth.
Right.
No way.
So you're looking at a 6th round pick, 7th round pick. Yeah. He was a 7th round pick. So if you get him for a 7th round pick,
which basically, Wayne, means you got Keon White for free.
There you go. Bingo.
If you put it that way.
This is the game we playing.
No, he's 28. You know, I thought he was 30. He's 28. So.
And that's the game we're playing. So I like that.
All right. Well,
I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him gone though. I really want to see him
turn it around.
Like we got 8 weeks left, right? Of football.
We want to see him turn it around, but if he's not going to, and he's going to continue to look the way that he has so far, then we don't want him here. Like that's basically how we feel at this point. It's like, what have you done for me lately?
Because as a Niner. You can't drop a pass, and damn sure don't tip a pass and let it be an interception. It's a wrap. The fans, they're done, bro. Listen, they're done over you.
Yo, 49er fans, one of the most impatient, like short-tempered.
I love it. I don't know what to call us. You know what I mean? I'm one of them. I don't know what to call us, but we are. What have you done for me now lately? Like we are on our Janet Jackson shit. Like real talk. Oh, I just dropped. Listen, I remember like, he could go out this week and have a 4-touchdown game, right? Right? Against the Giants. And then next week against the Rams, he dropped 4 passes. And he'll be ready. You got to go. He's got to go. He's inconsistent. That's the word we use.
But after that game, the trade deadline's done. So.
Right. Yeah. So they got to. Will he be traded on Tuesday? That's the question. He won't be traded before. Now, what I was going to say, though, is let's see how he's utilized. He has been the most targeted guy in this offense the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? He's getting the most targets past 2 weeks because they ran the ball a lot with Christian McCaffrey against Atlanta, but he was the leading target guy. And then last week, he was the leading target. So if he's that this week, he won't be traded.
Unless they know for sure that Pearsall will be back the following week. Then
I'm saying if he's kind of shelved, I think they're reserving him and he'll be moved.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Just like we watched all these other players got moved. Just like Keon White's here. He didn't play last week.
You don't. Yep. Okay. So this week might be a big
this might be the tell, right? Like it may be. We may be wrong. I might be far-fetched, but listen, I'm saying pay attention to how they use Jauan Jennings.
Okay, that'll be very interesting. But as we look toward this game, Wayne, let's close it out with third down conversions. So 3rd and goal, 49ers' biggest goal this week. And Wayne, I'm going to go first. The biggest goal this week for the 49ers is to get through this game without any significant or multi-week injury. I can live with someone getting nicked up and like, maybe they don't finish the game, but they're back next week. And, like I can deal with that. That's fine. Happens every week. But you can't afford any more multi-week injuries for this team. So the biggest goal is just get through this game without any more on this godforsaken MetLife turf.
We're not going to have any injuries this week.
Speaking into existence. I like that.
I'm telling you.
I like that.
I got the feeling. I got a feeling like I'm Black Eyed Peas right now. There won't be any key significant injuries. Let me say that.
That's big.
That's what you
said.
That's
big too. Well, I said not multi-week, but I like key injuries too because it's like all
how many more key players we got?
That's what I'm saying. Like it's just some dude on special
how many more
teams,
key players we got? Right? Yeah, there won't be any keyword key, and then significant would be the term, the link. Yeah. I'm getting good at this shit.
All right. Now, 3rd and long, 49ers' biggest challenge this week against this Giants team. What you got, Wayne?
Biggest challenge? Containing Jackson Dart.
I think I definitely say the same. I do feel like the fact that Cam Scatterboo, obviously he's out for the season with his injury. We hope the best for his recovery.
wanted to stick it to him.
I love Cam Scatterboo.
I wanted to see Tatum Bethune hit the shit out of Cam Scatterboo. And vice versa, right? That's what I was looking for. That key matchup. But unfortunately, man, prayers go out to that young fella. And the good thing is he's young and he's gonna recover, he's gonna rebound, and he's gonna be back at it hopefully next season, ready to go. But it sucks to have those type of injuries.
Hope so. But like I do feel like that's obviously a big loss for the Giants team. And I think it puts a little more weight on Jackson Dart's shoulders, right? Like you have to be the offense now going forward. And so yes, they still have Tyrone Tracy, who's capable enough. Like I don't want Tyrone Tracy having a Woody Marks type of game that we saw last week. That's what I'm saying. Like so you still gotta defend the run well, but if you can do
he
that,
bet not. You heard me.
Like, please no, like 50-yard catch for
he
Tyrone
bet
Tracy.
Not. And here's the thing, though. This is what's going to like stick in the back of my mind. He got injured, then he lost the starting job to Cam Scatterboo, and now Scatterboo's injured, and he's regained that starting role. He's probably going to play on 100 to never, ever be overlooked or overshadowed by another running back. I feel like he is going to give it all he has. So the Niners better be ready to stop the run. That's all I'm saying. Stop the run. Don't let these running backs bounce to the outside. Got to contain the edge. Yeah. Don't care if it's a quarterback running, wide receiver running, running back running, or anybody running. Got to contain the edge.
That's always first and foremost in like any game, because if you don't do that, like the wheel's going to fall off fast. But I do, obviously Cam Scatterboo not being in this game could help the 49ers in containing Jackson Dart, because he's going to have to do so much more passing, I think, in this game. So it could help. So yes, that's the biggest challenge, is just trying to keep Dart in check. He's a very talented player, very dynamic, and he could use his legs, like we said. But if they could like limit him, it should be in the 49ers' favor. But it's not going to be easy. It'll be tough for sure.
I like that. You said I like what you said. You said not having Scatterboo should it help the 49ers be able to contain him. Wait till you watch my keys to Victor, read the kid. Like he's a different type of quarterback. He's a kid. And he's playing with this moxie that I love. Same way Brock Purdy played when he got his chance. I love it. Now, he's missing, not only is he missing Cam Scatterboo, he's missing Malik Neighbors, unfortunately. Yeah. So, it's just a big one, right? And so, like, he's still trying to reconnect. If I could throw another little tidbit in there, other than Jackson Dart, if Theo Johnson has more than 5 catches for 80-something yards in this game, you will see me lose my shit. I will be damned. The Niners got to figure out how to cover these tight ends.
That's a security blanket, too.
Yes.
That's his security blanket. He really likes looking Theo Johnson's way. And you don't have Fred Warner anymore. Your coverage has not been great these last few weeks, especially not last week. Although Dalton Schultz didn't do a whole lot against the Texans, it seemed like damn near everyone else did from the pass catching standpoint. But I agree. I think that's, as far as the passing game, that's the one guy you got to keep an eye on because he can hurt you too, a talented rookie. So that's a good one. That's a good one. And if you could defend him, like, I think that'll go a long way into making Jackson Dart's day a little bit harder, right? You can't make things easy for him.
Good point. Force that guy to throw that ball down the football field and be ready to cover. And I think the addition of who we added this week, getting a Keon White, bringing Cleveland Farrell up, yes, he's going to be activated. He's the Travis Gibson now. So Travis Gibson gets signed, going back to the practice squad. They Niners, whatever. They bring in a new guy. He'll be elevated. And then I think after his standard elevations, he'll probably end up on this active roster somewhere, like over Robert Beal. I'll take Farrell over Robert Beal any day.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think before
now you need all you got. Yeah.
So we'll see how things unfold leading up to this week, but it should be a good one. And again, we'll be out there, so make sure you guys follow us on our socials because our stories are going to be popping, right? Like
for sure.
Wayne, what's your Instagram for everyone here?
Man, at the Wayne Breezie, right? So it's going to be on and popping this weekend for sure.
And mine is at Steph49K. So make sure you guys check that out. Thanks to everyone who tuned in today. Live chat, as always, was popping, as I like to say. Make sure you guys like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Not just mine, but Wayne's as well. Hit that notification bell so you know when I go live. I already know Breezy's schedule. I know he's going to do a simulation after this, that Madden simulation. So make sure you guys check that out.
Damn right.
This guy works hard, man. This guy works hard. So make sure you hit the notification bell. Audio listeners, make sure you leave a rating, leave a review. But for now, guys, have a good rest of your Thursday. Talk tomorrow. Peace.